Hi guys, my name is Barry and welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about the meta commentary in Scream 6 and as well as Scream 5 as well, because there's stuff about that kind of annoy me as well. Now, at the end of the day, Scream 5 and 6 were good movies overall. I think that there's not one bad film in the franchise, yada yada, we know that. But there's some things in Scream 6 especially that were so on the nose that that's what put me off certain things about Scream 6, and that is mostly the meta commentary in the movie, mostly delivered by Mindy. And it's not that actress's fault, because Mindy is a character that's been written by the new group of guys, and this is how they want to portray Mindy. So I feel bad for the actress, but Mindy herself has been backed into a corner to a point where I just don't like her because of all the forced meta commentary, and it's mostly coming from her. Now, when you look back in the original movies, Randy obviously being the prime suspect of meta commentary, Randy says things like, if this were a scary movie, I would be the prime suspect, if this, if that.
You're absolutely right. I'm the first to admit it. If this were a scary movie, I'd be the prime suspect.
In those films, in the original trilogy especially, they're telling you what would happen if this were a movie. But when you look at the new movies, and Mindy especially, she's telling you the rules of a requel as if this is the movie. She's saying we are in the movie, this is us, we are those characters, and this is what's going to happen. So when you look at the contrast between her and Randy, it's night and day, because she's basically telling you she knows what's going to happen, she's amazing, she gets everything right, and even when she gets it wrong, she eventually gets it right anyway. So her meta commentary is too on the nose for us to appreciate, whereas Randy is, and even not just Randy, other characters like Billy, etc., they're telling you things about movies as if they're in a movie and that's it. Whereas it's almost like Mindy is trying to break the fourth wall with the audience, trying to interact with the audience. She's taking what Randy done and putting it up to 11, dialing it up to 11 or 12. So it's too forced for me. And again, it's not just Mindy that's a culprit. Other characters in the movie are culprits for that, because the meta commentary just feels too forced to me, and when it feels too forced, it feels fake and you just don't enjoy it. Coming from my own standpoint, of course, that's why I enjoy the original trilogy more, because when they do mention things, we go, oh, that's something that happens in films, or oh, I get that feeling as well. Whereas in this one, they're laying the groundwork for you, they're force feeding you what you're supposed to think. So they'll say things like, this is what happens in horror movies, and this is what's going to happen now. And they'll look at the audience, and they'll look at us to think, you know, you have to agree with me. And you're like, yeah, I don't agree with you, sorry. So sadly, I think that's why Mindy's character is the worst character in Scream 6. Now, her character was okay in Scream 5 because she wasn't too out there with it. So for example, she'll go down into the basement and follow Amber and tell her, this is what you should have done, and such, and that was kind of annoying, but it was acceptable at the time because we were just getting used to Mindy's character. But then when you look at what happens in Scream 6, she's too forced with it, she's too excited about it. Even when someone dies, straight after someone dies, like Annika, in a couple of scenes she's excited again and she's so happy, and I'm like, it's just too much for me. I just can't accept that is a real person in this movie. It's almost like she's a cartoon character of herself from Scream 5. I don't know if that was intentional. If it was a stupid idea. If it wasn't intentional, then I hope they dial that back for Scream 7, sorry. And then even when she's almost killed, she then has the strength to come back to the finale and the end scene and still give us her meta commentary and still be excited about it and happy. And I'm just like, out of all the things that happened in this film, all you want to do is give us your meta commentary all the way through it. And that's what annoyed me most. If she wasn't the person that she was in the film, and the meta commentary came from other characters in a light and subtle way, like what we got in the original trilogy, I think the meta commentary would work more in this movie than it did. I see people online saying that the meta commentary and the meta scenes were all fantastic, they were so clever, and it's mainly from a younger audience, and maybe that's how the younger audiences see things now. I'm a dinosaur now, apparently people call me old, even though I don't feel old. So maybe times have changed, and maybe I need to get with the program now. Maybe on the nose meta commentary is the way to go. Maybe that's the hip and cool thing to do these days. I just don't see that as being good. I think that's too lazy with the writing standpoint. I think if you want to write good meta commentary, you need to be clever about it. And if you look back in the original movies, that's how you do it in a clever way. When you look at Scream 5 and 6, not so much. So what are your thoughts on the meta commentary, guys? Do you think that the commentary is too on the nose, too in your face? Or do you think it's cool, hip, and not on the nose? Leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you prefer. Do you prefer the commentary in the original ones or the new ones? As always, thanks all for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
To get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the